crafters, welcome into Guys Craft 2. My name is John and it is Labor Day weekend already. I'm like trying to figure out where is the year going, right? So today is literally the last day of August. So it's like, guys, what's going on? I mean, um, when you start thinking about and looking at Hallmark yesterday put on one of their Facebook chats that 7 weeks we start the Christmas countdown and all the Christmas movies and all that, because they start now like the last week or so of October. So they start earlier and earlier every year. And we typically decorate our house for Halloween usually by the second week of September or so, because if I don't get it started fairly early, I don't have time to put everything up and do what I want to do. And, it's like, wait a minute, we just literally put fall up and people were making fun of me at work because they were like, I can't believe you put fall decorations up and it's 115 outside still. And I'm like, well, if I don't get them up soon, I'm not going to get any time with them. And yet, we're in September. I mean, wow, it's just, I don't know. It's just amazing to me. So let's see who jumped in this afternoon. Thanks for being on. Welcome to all the new subscribers that we've picked up. We've been doing some advertising on Google, doing some Google ads and YouTube ads and that, generating interest around the retreats that we're doing. I just recently posted I've got the New Year's Eve retreat coming up. I've got the men's retreat next year for Memorial Day weekend. July 4th, we're doing Christmas in July and doing a retreat then. And then we're doing a fall frenzy retreat over Labor Day weekend next year. So all of those are now up on the website at guyscraft2.com and open and taking registrations. But to help get word out in that, we've been doing some Google ads and doing some YouTube ads and that, and it's definitely helped our subscriber count. So I appreciate that. Welcome to new subscribers. Thanks for those that have been reaching out and emailing me with questions and that about our retreats and what's going on. So let's see who is in tonight. Joydy was the first one in. She said, hi, John and Chap. So Joydy, always a pleasure to see you. And poor Joydy, she's like, where is everything? And so we'll talk about that in a minute. So Julie, good afternoon. Welcome in. Balloonist down in Tucson is here. I wonder if she came up to the Scottsdale craft show this weekend. Not craft show, but they had the quilt show and sale over at the Scottsdale. It's where they show horses and all that. I went there a couple of years ago. I did not like that show because they use the barn or whatever where they show horses and they have rodeos and all that. And I'm telling you, I am very sensitive to smells, and I could smell the urine that has been set in that concrete for the last 40 years. And I was like, no. And then as we've moved and did some things to the house, I've realized the last thing I needed to do was go buy a new quilt kit. So I did not go. I stayed in this weekend. Hey, Brian, welcome in. Thanks for being here. Miss Melanie is in the house. Thanks for joining. Julie is in. Hey, my friend, thanks for being here. Russ is here. He says, hi, chat. Happy Sunday. Can't wait for the holiday quilting bee tomorrow. Yes, so we have that coming up. So it's going to be a busy weekend for us. Russ has had a busy weekend. He's been on and off with Stephanie all weekend and on her channel, his channel. So they've had a lot going on and getting a lot accomplished, which is kind of cool to see. Jackie's in. Hey, good afternoon, Jackie. Zaza's here. There's my friend Zaza. Thanks for being here. Jeannie's here. Thanks for joining. There's Mama Jan. Thanks for joining, Mama Jan. And who else? Mama Jan says 116 days till Christmas, right? Thankfully, all my Christmas is done. My partner was able to get the one quilt done that I planned on gifting this year. And so he got that off the long arm this week. And I was able to get that, the binding put on. And so it is folded and all set and ready to be shipped when the time gets there. So I am actually ahead, way ahead compared to last year. So I feel good about that. Come on, come on, come on. Sometimes my scroll doesn't want to work. Andrea's here. Hey, Andrea. Howdy. Welcome in. Thanks for being here. Nikki. Hi from Missouri. Thanks for joining this afternoon. Zaza says Jody is looking for a sneaky private tour. We'll talk about that in just a second. It's been kind of crazy. What else is going on? Nope. Zaza or Balloona says she did not make it. She's going to go to the one in November in Tucson. I'd actually like to come down and go to that one. We have not been, and I've only been to the Tucson area one time, and that was to go to the biosphere, which was really cool. But literally, we went down the interstate, got off, went over and went through the biosphere and did all that. Went back to the interstate and stopped at the outlet malls, had lunch, and did all the shopping at the outlet malls because the outlet malls in Tucson are a lot different than the ones we have in Phoenix. And came home, so I really never even got to see Tucson. So I really would like to go down and see that. Um, hey, Jean's here. Good afternoon. Miss Becky's here. Hey, Becky. Thanks for being here. Trudy said, doing the corner shelf withdrawals, that pieces of fabric on that little table just doesn't do it. Amen. I tell you, girl, you'll love seeing the new shelves. Who else? Charlotte's here. Hey, Charlotte. Thanks for being here this afternoon. And am I caught up? I may. Oh, hey, Melanie. Thanks for being here. She says no school tomorrow. Yeehaw! Right. I am so excited. I unfortunately had COVID this week, so I hibernated most of the week. It just really the fatigue, it just zapped me completely. I was able to work from home all week. I worked all week. Ended up not taking a sick day, but it definitely knocked me down. And I ended up going to urgent care because I did want to get a prescription of Paxlovid and that. And the nurse practitioner I saw could not have been any nicer, but actually told me she had just had it 2 weeks ago, and that there's so many cases on the rise, and that she thinks a big part of it is that people just aren't testing now, so they don't even realize they have it, and we're really starting to spread it again. So I was like, not what you want to hear. Mm. Luna says, so you never actually got to Tucson. No, I didn't. It's so crazy. It's because it's like a 2.5 hour drive for me, especially being all the way out in North Phoenix. Mm. Oh, Jackie said when her kids were young, they went to the planetarium over at University of Arizona. I think that's cool. I would like to do that as well. The last planetarium I went to was probably 40 years ago, and it was at the University of Louisville. And I think planetariums have such a story to tell in that. It's funny we don't take advantage of stuff like we should. Um, Jody says nurse practitioners are the best. They can be. I tell you, one of the companies I worked for a nuclear company who we actually had a medical doctor, a nurse practitioner. We had the whole thing. And I was always one of those. It's like, no, no, no. I want to see the real doctor. I don't want to see the nurse practitioner. And once I got to know the nurse practitioner and met the doctor, I was like, yeah, yeah, I never want to see him again. And I used to call down. They were like, well, you can see Doctor So and so. And I was like, no, no, no. I want to see Vicky, the nurse practitioner. I was like, no, not dealing with him again. I already dealt with him once, and she was way ahead. I think sometimes we don't realize how good they do. Um, so we are moving. I am setting up a new YouTube studio. I have it probably about 80% complete. I've got several new cameras that came in. I've got arms for the cameras. I've got some new lights that came in. So it's probably another 2 or 3 weeks before we get it completely set up and functional. One of the things I need to do too is move the long arm out of the one room, and the long arm will end up being in the new YouTube studio. So the intent is in the new studio, I will be able to cut fabric, I'll be able to do ironing, I'll be able to run several different machines, and I won't have to jump room to room throughout the house. Is the intent behind that? Plus the fact that I'm giving up one of the rooms for my partner so he can bring in his laser engraver cutter and 3D printer and a new 3D printer and a bunch of toys that he has. So he's happy to get out of the garage and be able to use that a lot more. And since he's doing all the long arm work now, we want to keep him happy and keep him enticed with what's going on. So look for some changes over the next few weeks, but we're slowly getting there. And it's almost embarrassing because I started going through and I have tubs where I've separated all my quilt kits and that. And I decided now in the new studio, I can actually put them on the shelf and get them out where I can really see them better. I have 12 quilt kits just for Halloween. And I'm like, okay, so I already have 2 Halloween quilts hanging up in the new YouTube studio. I have 3 more hanging up waiting for him to put them on the long arm. And then that's 12 more sitting on a shelf waiting for me to make it's like, okay, so obviously we do like Halloween in this house. We won't talk about the 28, 30 quilt kits I have for Christmas, along with just tons of other quilt. And I thought there was no way I belonged at Scottsdale this weekend going through and looking at anything else. And then worse, I started separating out my patterns. So I ended up buying a new 4-drawer filing cabinet so I can really sort and kind of make my um, patterns much easier and more accessible. And I've got some really cool patterns that I forgot that I've bought in the last 2 years. And I was like, oh my gosh, and I keep buying more patterns. And it's like, what do you do? It really is a sickness and I just can't help it. But you know what? I go to work every Monday and I pay for what I get. And so I don't feel guilty. But at the end of the day, it's like, guys, I could retire in for 30 years, probably not buy anything. I have 26 bolts of fabric now. It's just crazy. So just way too much going on. So it's just kind of silly. Mm. Oh, Belinda says she worked there 34 years. I'm assuming at the University of Arizona. Oh, Jody says, when are we going to meet your partner? We will have to talk about that. I mentioned that to him not too long ago. He's not always camera ready. And actually, just during the live. So typically, I do all the cooking during the week because I love to cook. So I typically do the cooking during the week because I usually end up home earlier than he does, especially because 2 days a week I work from home. But Sunday he does the cooking, and he typically is cooking during the live. But we'll figure it out. We'll make sure that you get that he gets introduced soon. We may do that once we get the new studio and all that set up, and he can show off his laser engraver and some of that stuff. Brian says only 12. You need to do more shopping. Yes, see, just crazy. Um, Jackie says, I thought I had 15 quilts unpacking. I found 10 more kits plus 20. Right? I mean, it's funny how you just start stuffing things. I mean, literally, I do have 2 stuffed drawers full of Tula, but I also have a dresser drawer full of charm packs, 2 dresser drawers full of fat quarters, another one of small projects, and another one of layer cakes. And it's those big IKEA drawers. So, I mean, out of sight, out of mind sometimes. I was going through stuff today to poll so we can have prizes and fun tomorrow during the holiday quilting bee. So I did pull some things out. I've got some gifts that will be given away tomorrow. And it's just funny because I keep looking and going, wow, I remember when I bought that and I thought I would do blah, blah, blah. Now I'm gifting it. So we'll just see. Hey, Stitcher. Stitcher says, when you retire, you can give every one of your coworkers a farewell quilt. I will have them. I'm telling you, it's so funny because we've started putting some of those on the Etsy store, and I'm sitting and waiting. It's just crazy. It's like, okay, well, which ones do I want to keep? Which ones do I want to gift? Which ones? And I do want to I still need to call the veterans home because I really do want to take some quilts down to them. But I got to figure out what their requirements are. But it is a state run veterans home. So I really feel good about donating and doing something there if they would let us. Melanie says, open your own quilt shop at Jahan. So I do have an Etsy store at Pride Proud Designs. And we've done decent on selling some supplies and that stuff. The problem is getting it loaded. It's just amazing how much time that takes. And it's like, okay, if I'm taking pictures and doing that, I'm not sewing or cutting and doing other things I want to do. So um, we'll figure it out. Colleen's here. Hey, Colleen, welcome in. Andrea's here. Welcome. Thanks for being here this afternoon. Um, so we will see. So tomorrow is the holiday quilting bee. We are doing the falling leaves pattern, and I meant to grab one to show you, but I don't have one sitting here. So I can't show you the pattern, but it is called Falling by Villa Rosa Designs. I did get all of mine cut out a couple of weeks ago, so I have it and it is ready to go. Hopefully you all, if you chose to do the sew along tomorrow and wanted to do that pattern, it is available digitally, so you can download it. You could have ordered it, or maybe you won one that we've given out over the last few weeks. If not, join the sew along anyways. Come spend 5-10 minutes with us. Stay the whole 3 hours. Whatever makes sense for you, and bring whatever you want to work on. Work on whatever you want to work on. So I always pick a pattern to work on. That'll be what we're focused on. It's not my pattern, so I can't share the measurements and all that. But it is exciting to kind of see the different things, the different fabrics that each of us pick in that. So I think it'll be exciting to see how that goes. Oh, Mary's here. Says, good evening. I love the pattern. Awesome. Thank you. Who else? Oh, Brian says he got his in the mail. Awesome. Andrea says, I want it from you, and she is good to go. What time tomorrow? Andrea, it's at 7 a.m. Arizona time. So 7 a.m. here is 10 a.m. Eastern time. So it's hard for me to start much earlier. We run typically 3 hours. So you'll get to listen to me rattle on again for 3 hours. So a couple of things I've worked on this week. I did get 3 quilt tops done, so I was really excited. One of those is a Christmas gift. One of those was the potato chip Halloween quilt that I got done, and then I got another quilt top done as well. So it's excited to get those off the long arm, and I was excited that I'm kind of keeping up with him because it seems like he can long arm faster than I can trim and do the binding and all that. But I did get everything done. So all the quilts that he long armed for me so far are done, either hanging on the walls in the new studio or ready to be gifted. So that was that. I did talk to you all a couple of weeks ago, and I may have mentioned it last week. Kohl's Christmas tree foundation paper piecing pattern. I love this. This is from Kohl's, Cole at kohlsquilts.com. He's going to be on the channel September 21st. So really anxious to meet him in that. There's something that just really resonates to me about this pattern. The issue is John's never done paper piecing, and not sure I'm ready to do paper piecing. So I ended up, he has a lesson. You actually have to pay for his lesson, which I did. Because he's got several. If you have not went out to his website, he's got this pattern that he's given away. He's got an owl pattern that he did paper piecing that is just absolutely gorgeous. I ended up grabbing that too because it's a free pattern. And then he has a baby dragon, I think, popping out of an egg. Anyways, I grabbed that one as well. So I ended up doing his lesson on paper piecing. And of course, you know me, I had this in a fat quarter. And I think there was 8 different fabrics. I only needed 3 to do sample that he says that he uses to teach by in that. But anyways, I got through the first paper piecing. But look, guys, you talk about picking. If you don't think I like wild and loud fabrics, then I don't know what's what. But this was really cool. I ended up getting this done. Actually finished it this morning. Obviously, the center one is the one that had the most work and pieces and that, but was really fun to kind of do. So I feel like I have a good understanding of paper piecing now. I really do want to work on this pattern with him. He is doing his own sew along each week. He's actually doing his scrappy, and the scrappy colors and that he's using are really cool. This one takes 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, about 24 different colors. Fabrics is what he recommends, or the way he designed it out. But he's actually pulling all of his out of scrap. I'm probably not willing to do that. I probably will go and sort all mine so I have it. Most of it takes back quarters in that, or like a quarter of a yard of fabric. It's not crazy. So I will probably get that going, I hope, in the next week or so. But I have been trying to keep up with him and get that done as well. All right, let's see what else is going on. Sally's in. Hey, Sally, thanks for being here. Alex is here. Welcome in, Alex. Thanks for being here. She's been live several times this week. I caught her twice over the last few days, but only on the TV where I can't chat. But Alex is doing some really cool lives in that, Living and Crafting with MS. So go over and show her some love if you can. Oh, Jody says she's planning on doing it. I think it's such a cool pattern. I don't know what it is about it. He really kind of reminds me of that mid-century, and he's got that mid-century quilt that he did. I can't say that I would do that one. He actually sells it as quilt kit and that. I did look at it. It just doesn't resonate with me, but I do like the colors and a lot of the design work that he does. Katrina says, if I can do it, you can do it. Thank you very much, lady. I tell you, I scratched my head. I actually had to take out, get the seam ripper twice because I misplaced something. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to make this one panel. So I decided, because this ended up being really a nice size, I think what I'm going to do is put a border around it and make a pillow out of it. So I think that would make a nice, wild, and crazy pillow. I may end up sending it to my granddaughter over in Virginia, because I can tell you she's got my personality and she'll love those colors and that. Sally's here. She said she was working on her others. And it would like, yeah, I hate when that's the problem with me. I have TVs in every room, and I stream YouTube usually on 3 different TVs, because that's all it let me stream is 3 at a time. But the problem is, if I want to chat, then I've got to jump on my phone, or I've got to go find my laptop. And so I end up on a lot of channels, but I end up lurking more than anything. People don't realize I watch a lot of YouTube. Sasa says, paper piecing hurts my brain, but I can do it. I love the Christmas tree. I do too. I don't know that I'll have it done in time for Christmas this year. And that's okay, right? I think it's going to be a fun one to do and just something different. So that's what I'm going to do. Thank you, Zaza. I tell you, I was excited to get it done. It was like I said, I've never done paper piecing, so it was cool there. If you, Andrea, if you go to colesquilts.com, that is where the pattern is. I do have his YouTube channel linked below, and if you grab that link, it will take you there. And let me see. I think I put him in. I think I did add his channel. So hopefully his channel will pop up in a second with Nightbot. Yeah, there's his channel. If you click on that, it'll take you over to his YouTube page, and he's got a link right there to Cole's Quilts, but it's just colesquilts.com. What else? Katrina, Ryan, Sandler says, I'm breaking up doggy jerky treats in half for my Elliot. My partner bought them for Elliot at Costco when I was visiting. He spoils the dogs. I tell you what, it was so funny. We had the cutest neighbor years ago when I lived in Christiansburg, Virginia. She was a nurse, and she worked night shift, and she was as country could be. And she had a dog that she kept outside, and then we had two yappy dogs. I had a Bichon Frise is what we had, and it was funny because they could hear her come home early in the morning, and if we were home, we would let them out so that because we had a fenced yard, they would run out in the yard and they would just stand and bark to get her attention because she would come over every time they were out and give them dog treats. It's like, oh, so they knew who their buddy was next door. So she was the sweetest lady. It's just too funny. Yeah, if you're going to have dogs, you might as well spoil them. Alex says, I've been working on Groka. Oh, let me put my glasses on. But I have to get fabric to finish it, and I have to get fabric for the Christmas tree, have all his free ones, and I want the owl so bad. Yeah, I mean, the owl, if you all see it, guys, is just absolutely spectacular. I did download it. I don't know if and when I would ever do it. It definitely may be one that I would do when I retire. There's a lot to it. But it is absolutely a beautiful pattern. And the fact that he's just giving it away is just blows my mind. Oh, Alex says she suggested to YouTube that they put a feature on that lets people know. Or no, Andrea says I suggested to YouTube that they let a creator know that we are watching them. Yeah, I think that would be cool, right? Because I can see how many people are in on and watching, but that doesn't mean anything. Um, Stephanie says, I can't wrap my mind around paper piecing. And I've taken a class. I appreciate y'all who can do it. You know, interesting enough, when I first started quilting, of course, I was dealing with all these crazy people who kept telling me I had to do a 1/4 inch seam and how to figure out a 1/4 inch, and then bad enough, you all tell me, right, I need to do a 1/4 inch. And then depending on who you talk to goes, well, you need to do a scant 1/4 inch. I mean, what the hell? What's the difference between a 1/4 inch is a 1/4 inch? Then all of a sudden I get a scant 1/4 inch. So needless to say, it was fun just trying to start out. And Ian was actually one of the first channels that I watched. And Ian always cracks me up. Ian has such an amazing personality. He's just such a fun guy, right? And then you can't it and then when he cracks himself up and then can't recover from it, it's like, okay, you got to watch him to see if he's going to lose it again this week. But he was doing paper piecing when I first started. And I mean, very intricate stuff in that. And I mean, you cannot take away his talent. I mean, that man absolutely has some talent and does some beautiful stuff. Hey, Judy, you're never late. You are always on time. We start when you get here. So it's all good. Oh, Katrina says she's working on a hand embroidery. How cool is that? I've done hand embroidery. It's been a long time. I keep saying I'm going to get my crochet stuff out. So when we watch TV at night, I can just crochet. But I've yet to do that. I really need to do it. My problem is if I get the first 4 rows done, then I can sit and crochet for hours on end. But just starting just always throws me. And it's been a long time since I've crocheted. So I need to think about that. Oh, Jackie says the OWL download expires today. So guys, if you do want to get that, he does put a limited time on there. So if you do want to get that, you need to jump over to colesquilts.com today and get that. Yeah, Andrea says I was surprised it was free too. Um, Oh, Zaza says her dogs recognize stranger danger. That's interesting. How interesting. Hey, and just so you know, Alex, like I said, has her channel. I just put her link in if you have not been over to see her some nights, and she's been going live quite frequently. So there's hers. Next week on my channel, I have Danielle and I are doing something for Halloween. I think I'm going to do a wall hanging. I actually had bought paper PC gnome witches and that I wanted to work on, but I think I'm going to do after doing the paper piecing on this. I think instead what I'm going to do is do a Halloween wall hanging that I found. And again, I just found these the other day. I was like, oh my gosh, I have so much stuff just stuck everywhere. It's just like, oh, just amazing the money I've spent over the last 2 years and just did not realize it. It's just funny how things add up over time. Still working on the veggie, so I do want to get some of this sewn out tonight while we're talking. What else did I want to talk about? We got, oh, Danielle and I will be on each other's channels next week. So I will be with her on Saturday. She will be with me on Sunday. So excited for that. And then the following week, I've got Tasha is going to be on the channel with me. And then the week after that is Cole. So very anxious to get Cole on the channel and see what he's got going on. I think we will have a really cool time. So we will see how all of that goes. So I'm separating some of this out so I can figure out how many rows do I need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. So that's 1 row, 2 rows. It's only 2, right? Yeah. All right, 1, 2, and then we will do a gold, green, and do a red, orange. So it's I don't know. It's just so funny when you stop and think of how fast this year's gone, how much is going on. It's like, guys, what is happening? It's just coming at me too fast anymore. But it's all good, right? What else? I still have to work on finishing out the hot pads and that I'm making for Christmas. So that is the one thing I still don't have done for the holidays, but we'll get there. So we will see. But I am excited for tomorrow. Not excited to go back to work on Tuesday. We actually took vacation Friday. So even though I had been sick all week, I did continue to take the vacation day on Friday. And it was so nice just to have time here for us just to be together and for um, just some recovery, right? It's just kind of crazy. So, all right. So let's get first one going. So let's see how we can do that. And of course, I'm going to have my eyes on to do it. Then I started sorting thread tonight because he put shelves up for me that I can have all my thread out so I don't have to have it hidden in drawers and all that. Oh my God, do I have the thread? I never knew I had so much thread. So, and that poses the question. So, do you all heat with like one common color, or do you switch and use a special thread? So, like now, I have found that I really like this cool gray thread from Glide. So I tend to do piece everything with what they call this cool gray. And so, do you all do the same thing, or are you switching more and matching up colors for your piecing, or do you use what you consider a neutral color to do all your piecing with? I would be very curious. See, these are questions that I could answer and know if I went to the quilt club more often. But with still working full time, I will say I did get up a little disappointed this morning because I really thought I would end up being a billionaire when I woke up this morning, and just knew that that Powerball was going to come through for me, but it didn't. So I still have a chance Monday. So I could wake up Tuesday morning a billionaire. I'm not sure my boss would like it, but I just can't imagine that I would even have to give much notice. And then I'm the type, right? I would feel guilty not to because, like, the company's never done anything to me, and it's a good job, and it's a good company. But at the same time, if I'm a billionaire, it's like, well, guys, I've got all this other stuff I've got to get done, so I don't know that I would have time to even work out a real notice. So just the problems that would come with me winning $1 billion. But hey, who knows? If I win $1 billion, we could all go on a cruise together and have our own stitching cruise. All right, so look, this is called Landslide. And this is what I'm doing for my neighbor that's really big into quilting, not quilting, sorry, into gardening. So I think this will be kind of cool. So it's row 1, and then row 2 starts with this and this. So I'm just trying to get some projects knocked out. I did, by the way, so this is called Landslide by 3 Art Quilts, right, by Donna and Fran. Um, and man, I tell you what, they're on YouTube all the time. And I saw this pattern and knew it would let me show off this gardening, which is what I wanted to do. But then when I got to looking at it, I realized, oh, I can cut all of this with the AccuQuilt, because I can tell you, I am really just over cutting fabric. I just don't want to do it anymore. So instead, I am using the AccuQuilt. So I look now at any pattern that I get, how can I cut it with the AccuQuilt? And in fact, the falling pattern that we're doing tomorrow from Villa Rosa, I actually cut all of that with my AccuQuilt as well. So you get the right dies and get the right starts. You can cut a lot of stuff with that AccuQuilt. And it really has helped me get so much better about matching my seams and all that kind of stuff, because I was really having trouble in that. But I will say that is the one thing I like about the paper piecing is when you look at how intricate that center is with all those different shapes in that. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, man, that's got a lot of shapes in that, but I was able to get all my points together. I mean, look at how good those points look on there, and I'm like, I may actually like paper piecing more. I tell you, the piece I hated the worst was sitting there trying to rip all that paper out, and I did buy actually invested and bought some paper piecing paper. I forgot who it is. It's supposed to be some famous person. Um, but I did buy it from Amazon because I knew I didn't want to use copy paper. And to be honest, I was lazy and just didn't want to go to Dollar Tree, even though we have a brand new Dollar Tree just outside the compound. But I didn't want to fool with that. So, see, I think this is going to be really cool once we get this going. Excuse me. That's row 2. Hmm. All right, row 3 starts with this. And this piece. All right. So, did you all do anything special or fun for Labor Day weekend? We're having Mama Jan tomorrow. We're having hamburgers. I make homemade pork and beans because I don't like. I just it's funny how you grow up, right? So I grew up with mom making pork and beans, and now it's funny she'll tell me, well, Bush's beans are just fine, and I'm like, no, Bush is fine as a substitute, but if I have time, I'd much rather make my own. So I am making baked beans tomorrow. We are having cheeseburgers and that, and Mama Jan is bringing dessert. So we know that will be awesome. And so we have the live in the morning, the holiday quilting bee. We'll get to have some fun there. And then Mama Jan will be over. And then it'll be time for me to probably get ready to go back to work. I have to go to the health clinic at work at 7 a.m. I had to be released to go back into the office. Whatever. It always cracks me up that you got to go see a nurse. They're as excited to see me usually as I am to see them. It's funny. We all work in the same group in the same department. We all work under the same director, so they're really part of my team, anyways. But it's just always funny to me. But that's what's supposed to help keep us healthy. And I can't imagine. We're getting into flu and cold season now, which is fine. I've got right in the middle of it all. It's going to be really cool. I'm anxious to get this put together to see how this turns out. It wasn't the original fabrics that I wanted, but it is what I got. Carl's here. Purple hair Carl's here. And he's doing 301 singers. I want a 301 singer so bad. He sent me a picture of, I think, a red one that he just worked on. Now I feel like I need to get a 301. I have a featherweight, but I don't have a 301. And watching, and I tell you what, when you watch Becca, right, she just ruins. She's put all her others away and went back to that old singer. It just seems to be doing really well with it. All right, man, I missed a lot of talk. I am sorry, guys. Oh, Andrea says she lost so much when they had the Hurricane Harvey and the floods. I can't imagine, girlfriend. I feel so bad for you. Because some of it's not just the fact that you lost some of that stuff and people go, well, you can replace it. A lot of those patterns or um, fabrics and that you can't, right? It's just, and you bought those because they spoke to you somehow. And man, that's awful. I can't imagine if I lost all that I've got stashed away because I do have enough that I probably get by the first 10 years without doing a whole lot. Oh, Balloon says she can't get it to the pattern to download. Yeah, keep trying because I did not have trouble anytime with it, and it's a PDF pattern, so it should download pretty easily for you. If not, maybe he'll. And the Christmas tree pattern's not expiring anytime soon. It's the owl that's expiring. Oh, Charlotte says she loves her AccuQuilt. I do too. I have gotten obsessed with it. I have to hide the dies that I have because I'm embarrassed by how much I have. So I just don't even let anyone know what I have anymore because it's just it's become another addiction, just like everything else has. But man, I'm making some really cool stuff with some AccuQuilt now. Jackie said I've tried quilting a Halloween table topper, no orange thread. Should be here tomorrow. Oh, I tell you. And I just found the coolest neon orange thread. And I was like, what was I thinking when I bought this? But I'll guarantee you I'll find something to use it on. So it's that safety orange. And but I know I bought it to do something Halloween. Carl, we are excited you are here. Andrea said, I already retired, so it's been hard and slow replacing it, but I've been winning enough and getting fabric donations from friends that I have been getting by. That is so awesome. Girl, I just can't imagine. I feel so bad for you. Oh, Russ says, if you bought Carol Doak foundation paper, which I think that is the one I bought, yes. And I may have, but I just didn't want to leave the house. And I figured no more paper piecing than I was going to do. It was fine. Actually, I didn't feel like I think it was like $12 or $11 for a great big, like 50 sheets or something. I didn't feel like that was a bad price, but it may have been. Definitely, I can get the newsprint cheaper at um, Dollar Tree. I need to get to Dollar Tree. I really I like some of their crafty things in that. One of the things that I need to post it on Facebook, but I haven't because my niece was telling me that she's doing redid her kitchen. They actually just gutted their kitchen, had a whole new kitchen put in, and she's decided that she wants to use bees as her theme in the kitchen. And interesting enough, instead of calling her uncle and asking for a wreath like she's done in the past. She ended up buying a wreath off Amazon for bees and that, and it was so poorly put together in that she ended up sending it back and um, getting a refund. So this week, amongst everything else, I actually made her a bee wreath and got that all put together. I thought about at least doing a recording, but I'll be honest, I just didn't feel up to doing it, period. And so it took me a couple of days to get it done. And anyway, so I didn't do a recording. I would like to do a few recordings of making, especially holiday wreaths. I've got some fall and Halloween that I want to do, but I really need to get to Dollar Tree because I like Dollar Tree. Um, they have some really cool stuff a lot of times. Yeah, see, everybody keeps saying newsprint for paper piecing at Dollar Tree. I need to get there. I will get there, I promise. Alex says she made her stitch length 1.8 and just used this copy paper and it works great. I am like I said, I ended up buying the Carol Doak, so I'm good for now. But I now I'm stitching. If y'all were on with Shannon and I a couple of weeks ago, I stitch everything on about a 1.8, and I'm much happier. I think my seams are not only tighter, but I'm hitting the points so much better. Um, and everybody told me 2.5, 2.75, blah blah blah. I like the shorter stitch length. It works for me, and I'm really glad I had seen that somewhere on YouTube and decided to try it. Oh, Sally's going to a barbecue tomorrow. See, that's always fun just to get out and see your neighbors and that a little bit. Oh, poor Andrea's having torrential downpours and flooding here this weekend, so she's staying in and sewing, which is what I would rather be doing anyways. Amen. Yeah, it's funny because I moved to Arizona because I hate snow. I absolutely cannot stand cold weather. Never been able to stand cold weather. And so, interesting enough, I moved to Arizona, right? And now I'm like, well, see, I wish I had a snow day where I could just stay home. And I miss teaching school because that was the one cool thing. Yeah, it used to be funny because, all the kids, some of the kids, I like when I was teaching school, like some of them weren't going home and praying for a snow day the next day. And I'm like, listen, you all need to go home and pray. They say it's going to snow tonight. You need to pray we get a snow day. I was like, goodness gracious, kids. And we need our snow days. So I think we should get hot days in Arizona. I think every time it reaches 115 or above, we should be able to shelter at home. So I doubt that's going to happen, but who knows? Oh, Zaza says she bought A3 from Amazon and just bought the newsprint. We'll look at that. Jackie's doing family dinner next weekend. Granddaughter's birthday is this week. How exciting. That is always exciting. Irish lady Linda's here. Hey, good afternoon. Thanks for being here. She said, I just got up from a much needed nap, coffee, and warm up the sewing machine, and all is good. Amen. It is all good when you hear the needle going up and down. I do remind my partner every so often. It's like, I don't hear the long arm. So Fortunately, you can tell I have a partner that has a good sense of humor and is very tolerant. He also knows I'm very much a baby and I'm very spoiled. And I'm good with that. I think I deserve to be spoiled. Oh, Belinda says she does most of her piecing on a featherweight. I have got, there's a friend in Quilt Club that her husband does service on the featherweights. I've got its name. I need to take mine to have it serviced. It has not been out of the box since I bought it over 2 years ago. I'm assuming it works because I never even tried it. It came with a long arm because the lady I bought the long arm from had it. And I was like, oh my God, I want a featherweight. And she goes, oh my God, you can have it if you buy the long arm. So I had to buy the long arm to get the featherweight. But it all worked out in the end. Um, Zaza says, I do not need another vintage machine, but I do love my 201K with the knee lever. I tell you what, if you saw what Carl's doing and saw that 301, it was absolutely gorgeous. Yes, see, Charlotte goes, I saw that 301 that Carl did for Stephanie. It is gorgeous. I think Carl needs to do one for me, and I think I need to do one in, see, I'm a purple guy, so I've got to have purple. Now, Carl is a lime green guy. And so he's got everything in that green. But I would really love to have a cool purple 301. I think that would be fun. Carl says the 301 is just as fast as your Juki at 1600, and you can drop the feed dogs and free motion quilt on her. See, I don't know. I have to keep talking to my buddy Carl. I'm hoping Carl comes out to our men's retreat. I think that's going to be cool. Melanie says, tree is not working. I was able to get the Allen Dragon. I also joined the Facebook group. I'll let them know when I get approved. Yeah, he'll approve you tonight. And that, like I said, the Christmas tree is not expiring, and he's posting each week the blocks that he's doing. I think he did 6 last week and 4 this week. I can't remember, but it has been really cool looking at what he's doing. Oh, Russ says newsprint from Amazon is like $5 for 250 sheets. Yeah, see, I'll end up getting some from Amazon if I stay into the paper piecing. I did kind of like it. I have to say, it wasn't. Once I can get my brain wrapped around it, right? I think it's not so bad, but it did take a while to get my brain wrapped around it. Jackie says, love my AccuQuilt, finally all organized. I tell you what, I do love my AccuQuilt. It just makes everything so much faster. And yes, I probably do use a little bit more fabric with it than if I was just cutting it by hand. I will say, depending, so um, I do have the strips, right? I've got like the 2.5 inch, 3.5 inch, 4.5 inch. I got all the strips for AccuQuilt, but I also bought the Creative Grids, I think it is, right? And they're big, extra large strip cutter. And depending on what strips I'm cutting when, I really do like that ruler. It really does go really fast cutting strips with it. So I kind of bounce between the two depending on what mood I'm in. Sometimes I just like that I can lay the fabric down and push. It makes it so much easier. Oh, she says Donna on Handmade by Ying is great at paper piecing. She helped me a lot. I love listening to Donna. She has got such a unusual voice. I don't know how to describe her voice, but it's very calming to me or something. I do enjoy listening to her. Melanie says I use the kids' art drawing pad. It's like little brown paper. All right, come on, come on. Katrina says we have hurricane days. I bet you do. I tell you what, girl. She says, here in Houston, if they even think that it might threaten to have a chance of dusting snow, everything closes down. I know. See, I do kind of miss those days. Melanie down South Mississippi. My daughter's boyfriend is Australian. He said they used to get sent home from school when it was too hot, but when they were stuck in the house because it was too hot to go outside. Isn't that crazy? It just makes you really wonder. Carl says he could do a purple one. See, Carl's my buddy. I think a lot of Carl. He's a good guy. Melanie said, Katrina, we lived there for a short time back in the 80s. Mayport is where my hip's on a ship there for 2 years. Oh, wow. Oh, Valuna says she met Carl at a retreat up in Ohio. He does a lot of retreats. That man bounces around. He just got back from Stitch in Heaven down in Texas, Quinton, Texas. That's where I got to meet Carl. Was last year over New Year's Eve and that. Carl says, I'll be back in Ohio in March next year. Look at him. See what? I need to see if I was back East Coast, I could go to all these things and that. West Coast doesn't seem to have as many things. I'm just still trying to find them, I guess. Stripology, you're right. Yes, Stripology is it. Oh, Melanie says she has a cutie frame. I tell you what, I like that little cutie frame. Who just got a cutie frame? Um, oh, Dave's craft room. Of course, they gifted it to him. It just amazes me how all these content creators are getting gifted stuff. But he just got one. I saw on his video pop up the other day that he was trying to get it put together and that. I didn't watch all that video. Carl says, I need to put what I have now on Steph's webpage. There you go. Mama Chan says, I just looked at some 301s. The prices are all over. One is $1,800. Some are 123 to 250. Yeah. So that's why we want to work with Carl, because Carl finds them, refurbishes them, make sure that they work right. And I would bet you Carl only has only deals fairly with people. It's just who he is. Andrea says, I've just designed the cornucopia pattern using 1.5 inch squares last night, and I used my stripology ruler to cut all the strips and squares for it. I tell you, when you get used to using that stripology ruler, it's like, wow, like where has that been? And to me, you need the extra large one, right? Because the binding I did this weekend, I needed 8 strips, and I literally could cut 8 2.5 inch strips out of it, and it just worked perfect. All right. So anyway, so it's just been crazy. So I am excited for tomorrow. I just think we get to spend 3 hours together tomorrow going over all kinds of cool things and seeing what's new and what people have picked. I can't wait to show you some of the fabrics that I found. I found like literally I had the perfect, and I actually shot my stash, so you all will be proud of me. So, but I literally found like the perfect backwater bundle for that falling pattern. It just could not have been. It's like Villa Rosa would have been happy to have that pattern. You know, it was like, wow, that could not have. I could not have found a um, better set of fabrics to go with that pattern. So I think that is very exciting. So I don't know. So tonight for dinner, my partner fixed roast carrots and mashed potatoes. What he forgot to fix was a green jello salad, and that's okay. My favorite. It's one I've been waiting for all weekend, but I'll bet you he forgot. But that's okay. He can fix it, and we'll have it tomorrow. But it's a green jello lime salad that he makes his own whipped topping out of it instead of mixing it like with Cool Whip and that. He actually makes his own out of heavy cream, which even is just so much better. It's just kind of crazy. So I don't know. But hey, guys, we're at the top of the hour. I cannot believe I have been on rattling for an hour. I am really excited tomorrow. I look forward to seeing you all at 7 a.m. in the morning. I will have my coffee and be ready to go again. I do have some prizes picked out. So we'll do those about every 30 minutes. We'll do some giveaways in that. And we'll see how that goes. And then like I said, we'll be sharing tomorrow. We'll be talking, bring some topics that y'all want to talk about or catch up on, and we'll make it all work. So, as always, I appreciate each and every one of you. Please hit that like button, do the things that the YouTube algorithm likes for us to do as content creators. I appreciate each and every one of you. And until next time, happy crafting.